Here are the full list of the governors and deputy governors who are on the radars of the EFCC. The Abia State Governor, Governor Ikpeazu Okezie, and his deputy Ude Okochukwu. The Anambra State Governor Amadu Fintiri and his deputy Kauda Set. Akwa Ibom State Governor Udom Emmanuel and his deputy Moses Ekpo. The Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed and his deputy Bala Tela. Benue State Governor Samuel Otom and his deputy Benson Abodu. Borno State Babangana Zulum and his deputy Umar Kadafu. Cross River State Benedict Ayade and Ivara Esu. Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa and his deputy Kintili Otuaro. Ebonyi State David Umahi and his deputy Eric Igwe. Enugu State Ifeanyi Cecilia Ezielu. Gombe State Muhammad Yahaya and his deputy Menasa Jatu. Jigawa State Muhammad Abubakar and his deputy Umar Nnamdi. Kaduna State Nasiri El Rufai and his deputy Hadiza Balarebe. Kano State Governor Abdullahi Ganduje and his deputy Nasiri Guwan. Katsina State Aminu Masari and Maniri Yakubu. Kebbi State Abubakar Bangudu and his deputy Salamila Dabai. Kwara State Abdulharan Abduzag and his deputy Kayode Alabi. Lagos State Babajide Sanwo-Olu and his deputy Femi Hamzat. Nasarawa State Abdullahi Sule and his deputy Emmanuel Akabe. Niger State Abubakar Bello and his deputy Ahmed Kesto. Ogun State Dapo Abiodun and his deputy Nomoti Solako Oyedele. Oyo State Oluwaseyi Makinde and Adebayo Lawa. Plateau State Simeon Langlong and his deputy Soni Toyode. Rivers State Governor Ezebunwo NYESOM WIKE and his deputy Ipalibo Banigo. Sokoto State Aminu Tambawal and his deputy Mani Dan Iya. Taraba State Darius Ishaku and his deputy Haruna Manu. Yobe State Mai Malam Buni and his deputy Idu Gabuna. Zamfara State Bello Matawale and his deputy Hazan Gusanu. The Economic and Financial Crime Commission launches mass probes of governors' deputies. The Economic and Financial Crime Commission has begun mass investigations of governors and their deputies, many of whom leave office and lose constitutional immunities from prosecution in a few days' time. Exclusive memo obtained by the medium shows the anti-corruption agency is beaming its searchlight on at least 28 governors and their deputies. Nigeria has 36 states governed by each a governor and a deputy governor. At least 18 of the governors read the deputies targeted for investigations by the EFCC are prepared to leave office when they will complete their second terms in office on May 29, 2023. One is leaving office on the same date after completing a term, while 10 others recently won their second terms election and are expected to maintain office for the next 4 years. The broad range of investigation in that signals a broad range of investigations of the public officers. The EFCC has requested their asset declaration forms from the Code of Conduct Bureau, a recent official communication between the two agencies obtained by Premium Time shows. Details of the cases EFCC has against the officials are not immediately clear, but the Commission said in its later address to the chairperson of the CCB, Mohammed Isha, that it needs the asset declaration documents to facilitate an ongoing investigation involving them. Now, this commission is investigating a case in which persons listed in the attached schedule featured read the EFCC's letter dated 11th of April and signaled by an official on behalf of the EFCC chairman. The letter signed by Umar Salami of the President of the Crime Management Department of the EFCC contains an extra of list governors and their deputies who took office either in 2015 or in 2019. It requested the asset declaration form submitted at the beginning and at the end of current tenure of the governors and their deputies. In order to facilitate the investigation, you kindly requested to furnish the Commission with a certified true copy of the asset declaration forms filled by each of the subject for a period stated against their respective names. Also, you are to forward the Bureau's examination/verification report of the declared assets, the later read citing Section 38(1) of the Economic and Financial Crime Commission Establishment Act of 2004 as the basis of the request. Now, the CBC may not have received all of the forms, including the end of the tenure declaration of the governors and their deputies requested by the EFCC. Some of them may not submit their latest asset form until they either leave office or begin a new tenure by May 29th. Now, asset declaration forms corruption investigation. The asset declaration documents of the public officers are trusted leads for investigators. The Nigerian Constitution, however, confers immunity from criminal prosecution on 7 presidents, vice presidents, governors, and the deputy governors. This implies that the EFCC and other anti-corruption agencies are only carrying out limited investigations of the officials while they are in office, as technically they cannot be summoned for interrogations during their tenures in office. All governors should be investigated at the end of their tenures, said Awula Rufai, the executive director of the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, in an endorsement of the step being taken by the EFCC. We hope the EFCC have gathered enough tangible evidence against these governors so that they can do a thorough investigation in the case of diversion, misappropriation and public funds, or outright stealing. It is important that EFCC pursue these investigations with the view of bringing sanity in governance, he said. We cannot continue to experiment tragedies of public officials using their positions to loot the little resources available to the state. We must also make public officers understand that there is a law, and when they violate the laws, they must face the consequences, he added. Many governors control the resources of their states with minimal or non-existent checks and balances, contributing to the making Nigeria one of the poorly rated in the terms of corruption, according to an annual survey by watchdog Transparency International. With the amount of resources they deploy to funding elections and extravagant lifestyles, many of the governors have come under intense suspicions of corruption. A number of former governors who completed their tenures in the previous years are still facing investigations for alleged corruption. Now, this includes the former governor of Akwa Ibom State, Godswill Akpabio, and former governor of Zamfara State, Abdulzahir Yari, both of whom are vying for the Senate president of the anticipated 10th National Assembly. In March 2022, the EFCC arrested the former Anambra State Governor Willie Obiano shortly after he handed over to his successor and was detained for days for interrogations over corruption allegations. Earlier in March 2021, the EFCC similarly detained the former governor of Kwara State, Abdul Fattah Ahmed. They have all denied the allegations against them, while the EFCC keeps mum on the outcome of its probes and productions. The agency has also linked the 7th governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, with ongoing investigations to some suspicious suits of assets. The governor has also denied any wrongdoing. The governor in Adamawa State, Amadou Fintiri, was charged with corruption offences he allegedly committed during his 3-month stint as acting governor of the state in 2014. He is facing trial at the Federal High Court Abuja until he was elected governor in 2019. At least 11 former governors are under federal investigation, mostly on suspicions of corruption. The Economic and Financial Crime Commission have investigated governors, even though convictions are very rare. Former governors Joshua Dahiri of Plateau State and Jolly Yanim of Taraba State, who governed the respective states between 1999 and 2007, were jailed for stealing public funds in 2018. Mr. Dahiri and Mr. Yema didn't serve half the length of their jail terms when President Muhammad Buhari controversially granted them pardon in 2022. Now, moving on to the fresh allegations, last week the EFCC disclosed publicly that Governor Bello Matawali of Zamfara State, whose name appeared on the Anti-Graft Agency's list of possible corruption suspects, is being investigated over alleged diversion of 70 billion naira from the state's treasury. The commission alleged that the governor, who is leaving office when he will complete his single tenure in about a week's time, allegedly conspired with others to take public funds, which by his role was meant to safeguard. Now, the EFCC Director of Public Affairs, Osita Anwaja, said allegations against Mr. Matawali include corruption, award of phantom contracts, and diversion of over 70 billion naira. The outgoing governor, who lost his re-election in March, has denied wrongdoing and asked the anti-graft agencies to probe officers of the presidency and members of the Federal Executive Council. The commission described Mr. Matawale's outburst as the case of a thief, saying he must not be touched until other thieves are caught. Mr. Matawale further alleged that the EFCC chairman, Mr. Bawar, demanded $2 million as a bribe from him. The EFCC said it dared the governor to provide evidence to back his claims. Spokesman for the EFCC, Wilson Uwujirin, said the commission will not be drawn into a mud fight with the suspects under investigations for corruption and unconciliable pillage of the resources of his state. The immunity and bizarreness of the politicians are killing the country, and we cannot afford to continue on this trajectory, Anti-Corruption Crusader said.